Hi, my name is Toussaint Williams. I'm the U.S. representative for the German Offshore Wind Initiative. We're here at IPF 2023 in Baltimore, Maryland, and I'm sitting with representatives from Tank and also from Steel Inspect based in the UK. They're now here in the U.S. Kind of jumping into the offshore wind industry, and I think they're going to be really successful. So this is Carl Horstmann. Did I say that correctly?
Right.
Hi, nice to meet you. Could you tell us a little bit about yourself and Maik Rienecker? Okay. My German is still kind of improving, so the pronunciations, are getting there. So tell us a little bit about yourself.
So, thank you for the introduction. Tank is a 100-year-old steel tank fabrication company that's evolved into a tank inspection company too. And we have a lot of tank inspectors that do NDT testing. We do cathodic protection testing. We do corrosion NACE inspections. And we're looking to get involved in the offshore wind market because all the structures out in the ocean need to be tested to ensure that they are viable and there's no downtime. So we're looking to get involved in that. And we've partnered up with Steel Inspect, who's not only in England but also Germany, where their headquarters are. And we think with their experience, and I'll let Mike talk about his experience, but we think it's a powerful joint venture for us to get involved in this new supply chain.
Okay, incredible. So I made the mistake of saying you're based in the UK, but you're actually based in Germany and have operations in many places in the world.
Yes, but we are based in UK as well. I think about 2 years, let's say. And yes, we started it. So as well as we started now in US with Tank, Carl already just explained a bit what it is. And the point is we like to use our experience to get introduced also in the US market, together with Tank, and also to support Tank in a way that they should benefit from the experience we have in Europe, of course, out of 25 offshore projects. But not only that one, I think we can really be a powerful joint venture in our business, in the inspection and entity business for the upcoming projects in the US. And we as Steel Inspect, together with OCA, Offshore Associates Construction Associates, we are already participating, taking part in the project Vineyard, first US project, and doing fabrication and supervision in Rostock for the monopiles. Right. This is something we are on the job at the moment, and I think this is already good preparation also for the local market in US to get continued that topic then later on together with Tank.
Okay. So I'm actually really happy to be having this conversation with you. I constantly use Tank and Steel Inspect as kind of a case study or kind of a best case scenario, because there's many German companies that are looking to enter the US for the first time, and they don't necessarily know what the best route is. So it's either we create a brand new US entity and go through all the hurdles that it takes to kind of set up shop in the US, or there's the joint venture route where you can find a company that has similar capabilities or maybe a gap that you could fill to kind of expand operations. So how did this partnership come about?
Sure, so that's a good question. Would you like to answer that, or do you want me to answer it?
Just start.
Sure.
I think we had the topic already this morning. And, yes, just start.
Sure, so Tank's been involved in the offshore wind market and renewable energy market for many years. And we first dipped our toe in the water 10 years ago with Cape Wind. And we built up some contacts. And so when this new phase came along, and it's actually going to happen, some of our older contacts said, listen, if you really want to get into it, there's some people in Europe, and Steel Inspect does that in Europe. Why don't you talk to them? So we've been talking for about a year now, and the barrier to entry for a European company coming to the United States is expensive.
Of course,
that's high. So with our joint venture, we have the local content. We have inspectors that are on the ground already. So instead of sending people over from Europe, we're able to utilize and leverage our experience and our American know-how to support the offshore wind market.
Okay, so American know-how and German expertise kind of coming together.
Yes.
But yeah, so that's really great.
I think we found a simple way to do it, and yes, not
Right.
to talk about the simple way now, but I think it's really a good start, and yeah, of course, we may have first contracts. We'll see.
Right. And so what's kind of a good, what would you recommend to another German company that's kind of looking to come to the US? There's probably always the thought, I'll watch a lot of market updates, which I will be giving every quarter. I'll figure out what the new developments are in the US. I'll think about which partners to kind of connect with before finally making that jump. But sometimes it's probably best to, set up the LLC, get the address, find your way in the US and jump in. So I'm curious of what you think, I guess from your perspective, what the first step is to take.
I think the best way would be probably to look into that topic, local supply chain. So everybody wants to sell their services or their products, and finding a partner who is at least doing the same or doing similar products or services. It is a way to come in if both, of course, are understanding each other. That's clear. Yeah. Where we immediately are able to prove also kind of local supply chain, to have a local partner. You are able to start already if all the others, how can I say it, preconditions are done to get there, to be a joint venture, to go into a cooperation which have a basis. Yeah. So again, to your question, or coming back to your question, I think a partner which is on the same level is a good idea. Or you already have a client who really wants your services, needs your products, whatever. However, then also you have to clarify how to establish a company in US, which is, I think, more complicated than to find a partner on the same level.
Okay, so this is more of a
to
kind
put
of
the competition a bit in the background. I think this is a good way to land.
All right, perfect. So sorry to interrupt you.
Yeah.
So this is more of a personal or interpersonal question. So you have two companies, different, kind of like on two different sides of the pond. There's the business aspect that clearly makes sense, but how do you work together? You have a German company in the UK and other parts of the world, American company. Does it matter that you get along and know each other, etc.?
That's a great
can
question.
have a beer together.
Right. I think it's very important that the chemistry is right.
Right.
Because that's the easiest way to succeed. I know we're at the German booth here. I'm a second generation German. My grandparents immigrated over from Germany, so with a name like Horstmann, it kind of fits into the German model. But we have the chemistry. We've been talking a lot. I was just in Europe 2 weeks ago. I met some of Mike's partners. So we're ambitious and we have a shared vision. And as long as we can communicate easily, we can achieve some of these goals.
Right. And I think about again, so German companies that do want to take the joint venture route, there's sometimes the kind of uneasiness on the American side of, okay, well, we'd love to get into business with someone, but we have no idea who we're getting into business with. So I'm curious of what your thoughts were when you were first approached, and what were the obstacles or hindrances, etc., that were running through your mind, and what outside of all the business to be made and success to be had that made you kind of run for it.
Right. So in my other businesses, I do not have any partners, but I do in this offshore wind business with Mike and Steel Inspect. So for us, the barriers are, you have to look at the expenses, right? How much money are you going to invest into this process, into this venture, before you can get some kind of return? And bringing on a joint venture partner and creating a new company, you have some shared expenses. So right there, you not only are leveraging your experience and your know-how, but you're also able to reduce some of your expenses, which has been helpful to us because we kind of, we want to crawl before we walk, we kind of walk before we run, and we know full well in the future we're going to be sharing the revenues, and we're not really concerned about that. We just want to be successful, and the future and the revenues will take care of itself.
Okay, yeah, that's incredible. All right, well,
I mean, it was not that problem like, let's say, as a fabrication company who probably has more expense and more preparation and machines and equipment, which really has to be, let's say, bought or combined or whatever. But in any case, first of all, it needs to talk. And we just did talk about half a year about several projects which are possible, clients which are maybe already on the horizon. And during these talks, you just realize, okay, there is something which gives us a basis for a joint venture,
right,
let's say. And you need a bit time for that one. I think this is also something important there. Yeah.
So a question that always comes to my mind as I think about this kind of U.S. offshore wind development and the European expertise that is trying to enter the market, whether it's Germany, Norway, Denmark, whichever country that's trying to export their products and services through their small and medium-sized companies, is I think the U.S. industry, there's a lot of expectations for European companies that are coming, but I'm curious of what you think about the expectations that European countries or European companies should have for the U.S. market, but also the companies or the industry that's here.
I think I would say it in that way. The expectations are not so different as I would go to a new client in Europe. Why I should differ? Of course, there are different mentality, maybe not here, not so different as in Germany. But we already did established some other branches in other countries with really different mentalities. And my expectation, for example, is that this is not so different as I would have a new client in Europe or somewhere else. Of course, we bringing in, or we try to bring in some expertise. But I told Carl already from the beginning, maybe it's 1 year or it's 2 years, then normally they are able to do it alone. And it's the same process as we had in Germany or in Europe, let's say 10, 12 years ago. So it's not that we are just coming and knowing everything and then doing. No, we have to combine it. We have to combine the knowledge of US and of US companies and the knowledge of the European companies. We know that we are, let's say, guests in that way, and that we want to come and want to come business as well. We want to earn money, yes, but always in combination with the new client, US.
Okay, excellent.
Let's say in that way.
So let's get into the kind of nitty gritty of it. You've been successful up to this point. You've secured contracts. So what's not confidential? What can you share and kind of elevate and kind of tell everyone about? What have you accomplished so far? Which projects are you working on? Which companies are you working with? How many years of work have you secured? All of those good things.
No, honestly, we are still on the beginning. Yes, we are still on the beginning, creating contracts. There are some possibilities, some chances. Yes, of course. And we had something in mind. It moved at the moment. It moved, for example, probably for half or 1 year. Yes, but on the other hand, there are other chances. And it's not that we have currently an ongoing contract together. That's it. But we're on a good way.
Okay.
Of course.
I
mean, if you look at the projects, first one is Vineyard, then which is constructed, which is going to be constructed in 24. Yes, and the local supply chain still needs to be built up, and I think we are part of that. Yes, and we're part. And the IPF already, after 1 or 2 days now, we even see more chances than before. That's all what I can say at the moment to that topic.
No worries.
Yeah.
And so I do have to touch on the economic development side of things because that's the background I'm coming from. Kind of working in Connecticut and also Massachusetts. So I was in Manchester by the Sea for a while in their planning department. And there's always the question of how many jobs do you think you have the potential to create or are kind of already on the books? How big do you plan to be? How big is your current team on both sides of it? And do you share an office already, or are those kind of future plans?
Well, those are excellent questions. So we're, again, we're going to kind of crawl before we walk and run. We've been talking to some people here at the show where we're looking to maybe have a half a dozen inspectors to start off with. And we have a shared office, in Mass Tank, which is in Middleborough, Massachusetts. That's where we run our operations out of here in the United States. But we're also looking to open up an office maybe in Rhode Island or down here in Maryland, because the local content vision is so strong that we want to be able to have that presence. If we were to deal with US Wind, have an office here in Maryland. One of the things that helps our joint venture is that we're a minority business enterprise, and there's a lot of support for those businesses in the supply chain. So we're committed to hiring minorities and supporting our vision. But we have big goals. Whether that's dozens of people, hundreds of people, we don't know where the business is going. We're trying to get some steel into the water. Trying to be able to inspect the onshore components coming over from Europe or being manufactured here in the United States, and then go to the offshore where we have to inspect the steel out there. So we don't know.
Yeah, I understand. 100%.
Let's say in that way, we are probably able to create jobs per project between 20 and 30 inspectors, consultants, entity people, of course, certain entity inspections, which we at the moment are not providing in Europe, but we are able to provide now here with Mustang as a combination. Yeah, let's say per project, 25, 30 jobs. It depends how you interpret job. Yeah, is it a job per project, or is it an employed one who has jobs for the next 2 or 3 years? Yes, if they are running projects, continuously projects, then of course, let's say, I don't know if it will be 20 or 50. This is really hard to say at the moment. Yeah.
Right. Yeah. I mean, the reason I asked that question is because state economic development organizations are always thinking about how many jobs are being created, how much local benefit or kind of economic impact is there going to be. So it's something that's kind of constantly in conversation whenever someone is trying to do business. Also, I think the states usually want to kind of amplify the kind of economic impact that is being had and the companies that they're attracting, etc. Especially in this new industry that's kind of in its infancy. Every state wants to be first at something, to start attracting companies and all the different kind of corners of the industry. So I guess it's an important thing to keep in mind. And now I'm thinking about all of the other questions that I want to ask you.
I have one point. If you count all the at the moment planned, scheduled or intended wind farms only on the East Coast, let's say, and you compare it with that one, what is done in Europe or around Great Britain, yeah, and you see what is necessary in Europe, which kind of infrastructure is needed, and based on that infrastructure, how many jobs are necessary. If you do this multiplication in only in US on the East Coast, I think it is already done from somebody. Or you will see how many jobs will be created within the next, let's say, 10 years. If you really want to build up a local supply chain,
right?
It is in that way, and I don't know if it's right, but it will be millions of jobs.
Right. Exactly. Right.
And so you just need the perspective, and that's it.
Right. So
the perspective is there. Sorry.
Okay, no problem. Yeah. Sorry to interrupt you.
Yeah.
So the next question I think is really just a cheat code for me, being in this role, is so the German Offshore Wind Initiative. Again, it's a kind of German government-funded program to help German small and medium-sized companies to land in the U.S. in the smoothest way possible. What whichever state it might be, whatever route they want to take, the JV approach. It could be the kind of creating a brand new entity, building connections to the major developers or suppliers that are in the US, whatever it might be. Once you land in the States, which I guess is kind of the case now with Steel Inspect, and you're with Mass Tank, how can someone in my position as the US representative for this company be helpful to you after you've landed in the US? How can we support you now that you're kind of here and doing business or planning to?
Giving support in, how can I say it? How to behave on local way.
Okay.
It's already something good. To connect people, to connect companies who can be helpful, who can be partners, further partners, or also who can be clients. Yeah. This is something which is necessary to inform about current developments, maybe also to make a warning if there's something coming we are not seeing at the moment, or we are not aware of that one. This is something which is having forums, having panels like we did, or like you presented on Monday evening.
Right.
Just get the right information at the right time, speaking in an ideal way. Let's say in that way.
Okay, incredible.
Yeah, of course, it is helpful, of course, because these are how can I say it, initiatives. Let's say in that way. I want to say companies, but initiatives who really are able to give support, because you have some kind of hook where you can keep on, because you need information, because you need just somebody to talk.
Okay.
Let's say that way.
That's good. I mean, I'm glad that you could answer that question because, again, you're one of many companies that finally want to land here. So the insights that you have, and I may reach out to you guys to maybe be a speaker in some sort of webinar in the future that I plan. So I look forward to that invitation. But those are all the questions that I have for now. But it's a pleasure to meet you officially. And it's a pleasure to see you again.
Thank you as well.
Thank you for the time, and thank you for speaking to, I guess, the US and German market.
That's great. That is great. Thank you.
All right, cheers.
Okay. Thank you. Thank you. Okay.